You feel immortal?
No. I feel lucky to be alive, I'm immortal, because I've done some pretty damn crazy stuff in my life.
For decades, Ozzy Osbourne defied every rule of survival. He cheated Death more times than most can count. From near-fatal addictions to bizarre on-stage incidents, the Prince of Darkness always came back, until now. Whispers have been swirling, fans are confused, and something about his final moments just doesn't sit right. Was this really the end of Ozzy Osbourne? Or is there something much darker we haven't been told?
You're the leader of our gang. You tell me and I'll do it.
I'll go wherever you want to go.
Because when someone like Ozzy goes silent, after a lifetime of chaos, rebellion, and unbelievable comebacks, the silence doesn't just feel like the end. It feels like the beginning of a mystery. And once you hear what really happened in his final years, the cryptic warnings, the fake death theories, the shocking decisions by his own family, you might start to wonder, was Ozzy's fate truly sealed by nature, or was something else at play? It began with what Ozzy called the worst year of his life. After decades of brutal touring and self-destruction, his body finally began to give out in 2019. A fall in his bathroom, seemingly minor at first, led to major spinal injuries. Ozzy was forced to cancel his farewell tour. Fans thought he'd bounce back, just like always, but this time he didn't. Doctors discovered complications beyond the fall. Ozzy was diagnosed with a form of Parkinson's disease, something he kept hidden for over a year. His hands shook, his voice weakened. For the first time ever, the unkillable rock god looked mortal. But here's where things get strange. Ozzy started talking about dark thoughts. Interviews grew darker. He confessed to seeing visions and even claimed he believed his house was haunted. Longtime fans weren't just worried, they were terrified. And the worst was still to come. When Ozzy appeared on television in 2020 to confirm his diagnosis, something was off. His tone was flat, his gaze hollow. Sharon Osbourne clutched his hand the entire time. He looked fragile, not physically but emotionally, spiritually. He said he was in pain every day and that he didn't want to be here much longer. Some dismissed it as just exhaustion, but others saw something else. A man who was already saying goodbye. And it wasn't just fans noticing the shift. Former bandmates claimed Ozzy was not himself. One close friend said, "It's like he's already left and his body just hasn't caught up." Cryptic, unnerving, and tragically prophetic. But this wasn't the first time death had circled Ozzy. Ozzy Osbourne's life has always been intertwined with the unexplained, and sometimes the cursed. Back in 1982, his guitarist Randy Rhoads died in a fiery plane crash, under circumstances that many fans still consider suspicious. Ozzy was reportedly just feet away when it happened, and he never fully recovered from the trauma. Years later, multiple band members and tour crew reported strange dreams, feelings of dread, and unexplainable accidents during tours with Ozzy. Some even quit mid-tour, claiming they felt a dark energy following them. Whether superstition or something real, the pattern is hard to ignore. And then came the bats, the doves, and the endless media chaos. Ozzy biting off a bat's head on stage? That wasn't planned. The animal was real. Ozzy said it felt like some demonic force took over. A joke gone wrong? Maybe. But some say that moment marked the beginning of his spiral and maybe even a curse. And what's even more unsettling is how those incidents seem to echo now in the eerie quiet of his final years. In 2022 and 2023, Ozzy underwent multiple surgeries to correct his spinal injuries. The treatments were extreme, risky, but Ozzy pushed forward. He was determined to walk again, even perform. Then suddenly, silence. No more live appearances. No more public statements. No paparazzi sightings. Sharon made vague comments about his health, saying he was struggling but would pull through. But fans weren't convinced. In fact, conspiracy theories exploded. One Reddit thread claimed Ozzy had already passed and that Sharon was covering it up to protect the estate. Others said he was in a medically induced coma. A few even believed he had chosen medical departure, referring to an assisted end in a private Swiss clinic, a rumor that remains unconfirmed to this day. And yet, no proof, no confirmation, no closure. What is confirmed is that Sharon recently moved permanently back to the UK. The Osbourne mansion was sold. Ozzy, once the loudest man in rock, was nowhere to be found. Sharon Osbourne has always been fiercely protective of her husband, but her recent behavior has raised eyebrows. In a podcast, she referred to Ozzy in the past tense, twice, then quickly corrected herself. Their daughter Kelly said in an interview that her father was at peace. When asked if he was planning to return to TV, she went silent. "That's not up to him anymore," she finally said. What did she mean? Even Jack Osbourne, usually the level-headed one, hinted at something more. "You don't get to live like Ozzy did and not leave behind a few ghosts," he told a reporter. Some fans thought it was a metaphor. Others weren't so sure, because what came next made everything feel even more suspicious. Ozzy Osbourne's estate is massive, reportedly worth over $200 million. But in late 2023, something strange was discovered. Several of his original master recordings had vanished from the family archive. Gone. No explanation. No press release, just missing. When asked about the missing tapes, Sharon called it a personal matter. Music historians are baffled. These aren't just files, they're part of rock history. At the same time, private collectors began reporting that fake Ozzy memorabilia was flooding the market. A signed guitar sold for $40,000, only for experts to discover it was never actually touched by Ozzy. So what's going on? Is someone trying to erase parts of Ozzy's past or cash in on it before the truth comes out? And then came the most eerie development yet. Ozzy once claimed his old house in Buckinghamshire, England was haunted. He heard voices, doors slammed. One time he woke up to find scratches on his arms with no explanation. It sounded like typical rock star theatrics. But in 2024, the couple who bought that house went to the press with a chilling claim, "We've had to move out. Something in that house doesn't want to be forgotten." They described hearing groans at night, strange music playing with no source, and even seeing a shadowy figure limping down the hallway. Fans connected the dots immediately. Ozzy spent months in that house recovering, alone, in pain, in silence. Could part of him still be there? Whether you believe in spirits or not, it's hard to ignore the sheer weight of darkness that seems to follow this story. Here's the truth. No one knows for sure. There's been no public funeral, no official death certificate, just silence, statements from family, and a rapidly fading legacy. But the story of Ozzy Osbourne was never about clean endings. He was the chaos, the walking contradiction, a man who lost control and then took it back again and again. If he is truly gone, maybe that's why the world refuses to believe it. Because when someone like Ozzy disappears, it doesn't feel real. It feels like a final act is still coming. Maybe it's a secret project. Maybe it's a hidden recording. Or maybe, just maybe, Ozzy Osbourne hasn't had his last word yet. Until we know for sure, one thing remains true. The Prince of Darkness may be gone, but his mystery is very much alive.